I mean, like, why don't you rethink this move? And I just told them that, you know what, you guys, I have faith. I believe God is leading me into this. If it fails, I'll bounce back and work again and be employed. But for now, let me go experience that which I feel strongly from the inner.
So clearly, Maggie,
Yes.
you started off with also a bit of clothing, as if.
Oh yeah, oh many things. Oh yes, you remember the boutique we had.
Yes.
Yes, we started from, you know, like also my sister would send in very beautiful clothes. And so, you know, we also needed to occupy our mom. And so I would juggle the bank job, then help my mom decide with the boutique. And then later, when we started bathing the natural hair, we had to kind of divide the boutique. And we divided it into a very small room where we could put just 2 stations. And then we put, you know, I remember we didn't even have water. So we had to get a tank and pour water, get out jerry cans of water. But because passion was driving us, I think we were very humbled at every level we started. And I think this is when God just starts giving you like a more clearer picture. The picture is more clear in what we are going to do. Even when it was like a bit very small, we just believed in it. And whether we would have 1, 2 people, 3 people, would kind of like celebrate that. And so I think this was the time I was like, okay, I think now I'm needed, like full time. I'd prayed about it, so I knew it was time. My spirit was ready. Whether somebody told me stay or not, my spouse was supportive. My twin believed in me. There are few people who believed in me. And sometimes if you just have those few people that believe in you, and inside you there's a strong conviction, I think then you're ready. You're ready to birth the dream.
I'm sure someone will be asking, how much did you start with? Did you
Yes.
have some for you to start?
Oh,
because
no.
I remember that particular shop when you left it, you
Yes.
moved somewhere
Yes,
down.
down. Oh, yes, down.
Smaller
Because it
place
had
even.
water.
Okay.
Now, we were kind of like trying to take it like upgrading. So the size was still small, but now we're upgrading to water. From the water tank, you know, to now,
And no seats.
to opening the tap and the water coming. Actually, there were not more seats. We literally just got what we had. We took it downstairs. The only upgrade was water.
Water.
And then we also kind of decorated it. I think it's very good to start from passion, not to see what Priscilla does. Like, oh, I think Priscilla is doing dresses very well. I think she's doing well. I think dresses work. Then you go in because somebody has told you it works. I think I learned to work from a place of purpose, not from first profit. Because when you find purpose, profit comes. So we started, I remember we borrowed about 600,000 from our big sister, okay? And then I think I had some little pension that I had left the bank with, okay? And my sister had something. And so, because it was our idea, me and my sister, she requested her husband to give us a small loan. And I think he gave us about 1.5, then plus the 600 my sister gave. Then I think I had my little pension of about $1 million or 2. So I think our startup would have cost us about maybe 3 to 4 million. Okay, yeah. Yes, but we started, and because now this is where the bank comes in as a very, very strong mentor. I knew how to save. And so every time we worked, I had to do banking every day. And so we started growing our capital, but also we're relational people. I mean, like I had been trained to speak with people, to engage. It was very easy for us, actually. I think us as twins, we are friendly. So somehow it was very easy. My sister knew social media. So my sister went to social media and people believed in our message. And when we established, people came. And when people came, like the first 3-6 months, the place became like crazy. Do you understand? And we had introduced the crochet braid. We're the first people to introduce crochet braid in Uganda.
I remember.
And I remember even like some, you know, like I think socialites came. And so these looks were going in
Was still down
newspapers.
there.
Oh, he was still down there.
I remember.
They were going like into newspapers. People were like, "Hey, what's this crochet braid? I mean, like, who are these people? Hey, natural hair, you know, something like that." And so people came.
I remember that times you bring the kids over to my place.
Oh yeah, that time. You know, when you're starting a business, you're a young mother. You have to take them from school, bring them back, then find somebody to help. And I think I remember when we were in Equatorial, a couple of people surely helped father and mother our children, because there was somebody called Dennis. He left. They would go there, then also they would come, and you keep call them for me for some time. And that was surely a blessed time. And thank you so much. Actually, I'm like, every time I think about your husband and what he did for us, the day when I worked so late, I didn't have transport, like private means. And your husband was like, "You have these kids? You mean you're going with these kids home? How are you going?" And I'm like, "No, we're going to get a taxi." And he's like, "No, Priscilla, let's take them home." Oh, you guys, that I cannot forget it.
Oh,
It humbled
so
us so much.
pretty.
I always remember it. And when he married you, I'm like, "Oh yes, yes, that was a gentleman." So I'm humbled, and I'm glad that you guys, now you're mother, you know, so juggling through. Yes, so that's how it is
Amazing.
generally. It's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
It's been grace and discipline and commitment. And it's just so many things. You have to do a lot of sacrifices, but you have to trust God. Because at the end of the day, there are so many things you're not aware of. But I believe your faith can make you move mountains.
True.
There are mountains we moved and everybody was like, "This is crazy." The first thing that takes people out of business is rent. I mean, like, you guys are upgrading now to dollars. And we're like, okay, it's faith. And you know what? We knew, yes, dollars, but we're like, but it's faith. And sometimes when there's faith, there's no fear.
Yeah, true.
And you walk into those spaces and God fills them up. And so I saw the move of God in these, you know, in our upcoming. Sometimes you'd feel like it's time to move. And it's very important the voices we listen to.
True.
Because yes, I was a mother, married woman, now beginning a dream. People don't believe in it. Everybody's watching to see, hey, I think my friends would always confess and say, "But go and put some sense in Maggie. She should stay at her job. What is she doing?"
At that particular point, salons were falling apart.
Oh, yes, they were. People were selling off their salons, but there was something. There's always that something.
The other salon in Equatoria, you had actually just
We
bought it off.
upgraded.
Yes.
Yes, we bought it off, and we're like, that salon was worth, I think, about 40 million shillings. But as I said, favor that goes before you, and I think when you're in your right season. The lady, I thought we had to go to the market and find out the prices of all those things that were in her salon. For me, I told God, when you give me this salon, I'm going to stay here for the next 10 years. I'm like, I've arrived. I like, no, for us, every stage was arrival stage. For us, when we walked into that salon,
I remember.
we had arrived.
It was long
And
enough.
oh yes, like you remember we had come from something very small, another something very small, squashed. Now we're coming into something unbelievable, already made and done. And surprisingly, when we went to negotiate, she said she said she didn't want to look at the salon. For her it was a curse, for us it was a blessing. And so she just told the management, "This is what I want." And we're waiting to hear 30 something million, which we didn't have. And then she said, 7 million. I'm like, 6 cash down. And we're like, everybody said,
That
God,
is good.
God has just given you free of charge. He just respects money. But he has given you free of charge. Honestly, it was free.
Wow.
So it's,
Timely.
oh yes, we're just in season. We're just in season. So for me, everybody, whether you're a mother and you just have a dream and you feel there's that divine connection that leads you, don't sit. begin. I desire to go to Nairobi, to everywhere, but it's a process. Until my customer needs that, I cannot walk into that space.
Longing to